Live stream starts momentarily. But first, thanks to our wonderful sponsors. I don't know if you just saw the news, but average U.S. household debt just hit $152,000. That's mortgages, cars, cards, student loans. But the national debt just hit $37 trillion. It's all going up. Ask yourself this. When the system hiccups, who bails you out? It's not the Fed, not the politicians, and that's why I own gold. Gold doesn't need a CEO, doesn't need missed earnings. It doesn't freeze your account on a Friday at 4:59. While they print, gold just sits there doing what it's done for thousands of years. Store value. If you're done playing musical chairs with your savings, get something real in your hand. That's why you should try our good friends Kirk Elliott Precious Metals today. Goldwithjustin.com. Kirk and the team going to walk you through what they're doing, whether you're a seasoned pro when it comes to buying precious metals or you're just getting started. Call Kirk and the team today at 720-605-3900. That's 720-605-3900, or go to goldwithjustin.com to find out how they can help you today. No pressure, just facts and a plan. That's goldwithjustin.com. Protect what's yours with gold. Goldwithjustin.com. Do it today. When the grocery shelves go empty, you're out of time. That's the truth. Disasters hit fast. Storms, blackouts, supply chain chaos, and the first thing to vanish is food. That's why smart Americans, just like you, are stocking up now with My Patriot Supply. You can go to preparewithjustin.com right now to get a 3-month emergency food kit, and they'll even throw in a free 4-week food kit to boot. That's 4 whole months of meals ready to eat. No refrigeration needed, all with a 25-year shelf life. We're talking breakfast, lunches, dinners, over 2,000 calories a day to keep you strong when everything else shuts down. So don't wait until the crisis is here. Order today, and it ships fast and discreet. Go to preparewithjustin.com. That's preparewithjustin.com, because when the lights go out, the last thing you should be worrying about is feeding your family. Preparewithjustin.com. It's here, the grand reopening of the merch store, justinbarclay.com/store. We've got brand new tees, hoodies, and gear in fresh designs, colors, and sizes, even some for the kids. You're going to find favorites like the FAFO, Full Around Find Out shirt, the Gulf of America tees, sweats, and more. And alligator Alcatraz designs are ready to wear and ready to make a statement. And even cups. We've got mugs, we've got bags, we've got hats, all kinds of great stuff inside the store. Perfect for the rally, the weekend, or just everyday life. Shop now at justinbarclay.com. Shop now at justinbarclay.com/store. That's justinbarclay.com/store. Do it today. Yep, another large retail store just canceled a huge order, leaving My Pillow with a ton of extra pillows. But you know what? Mike and the team have decided to make that lemons your lemonade. It's their loss, your gain. My Pillow offering the classic collection for wholesale prices, only $17.
The conversation now at 616-774-2424. That's 616-774-2424. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barclay on Wood Radio.
Wow, what a ride in today. Roads are still a little dicey. We'll have the latest on that in minutes. And, of course, any updates on the weather you might need, whether you're going to or from or wherever it is that you're headed, maybe even hunkered down, you'll still want to know today the latest details coming up as we kick things off today. And to Tech Tuesday, we're going to talk AI. There's some conversation that you're going to want to hear on that front, but even more so, news you won't want to miss.
News, weather, and traffic. And the biggest stories of the day. We're talking about what matters most in West Michigan and beyond. This is the Big Three.
Yeah.
Now today's Big Three.
AI and that data center right in our own backyard. The latest on what they wanted to do in Lowell last night. Hit a little bit of a roadblock. Money for farmers and more. In our Big Three, powered today by our good friends at Heartland Home Mortgage, Dave Galloway and the team, ready to help you. We know we got a Fed rate drop, possibly coming another one this week. How's that going to shake things up even more for the mortgage industry as, things get cheaper? Like your ability to buy a home. We'll talk about it. See if we can get Dave on later this week to have to weigh in on all of it. In the meantime, you want to get the news right from the horse's mouth? HHMLending.com. Reach out to Dave. I know he'd love to have that conversation with you. Well, it was over before it even started last night in Lowell. That Township Planning Commission shut down. Probably been hearing the news this morning before it even got started. They were over capacity. Too many people wanting to get in and have a conversation. In fact, let their voice be heard on this subject. It's a big one. Folks getting involved in places like Goshen of you remember Dream Charter Township up north, Mecosta County. People are standing up. They only have 121 person capacity there in the township hall. So they moved the meeting to the high school where this will take place a little later on. I believe the date for that coming up in January. Alina Haba has stepped down. She had to. Essentially, she said, I got to make room in this process. Why? Well, she was appointed by the president, U.S. Attorney for New Jersey, after a federal appeals court told her that she was appointed unlawfully. Well, that's just to say that Trump appointed her, and the Senate is yet to getting around to approving. Now, there's hot mic. We'll have to pull this up at some point. There's hot mic audio from the president talking about the Senate not moving on the appointments, and this is a big problem. Time to bring back the filibuster? I think some of the Republicans are the issue here. She'll still stay on at the Department of Justice, by the way. She's not giving up. This isn't a defeat. It's just frustrating in the middle of all of this. She'll advise the Attorney General, but she is, in the meantime, vacating that top prosecutor role while the legal fight plays out. And the insanity the president is up against continues. $12 billion. That's how much the president is giving for farmers. And it all comes from tariff money, in fact. Tariff money for the farmers that need it. Now, I've gotten some folks, a number actually of questions on this already, and concerns that people say, this money is just going to go to big ag and some of those farmers that, they don't need it. It really ought to go to the little guys. And that may be the case, but that's a problem that's been around a long, long time, much longer than President Trump.
Pennsylvania, where he's looking to promote work to improve the economy.
The newly announced financial aid package for farmers is just one of the things the president is expected to talk about.
CBS News correspondent Bradley Blackburn has more on the president's agenda.
Search was part of an ongoing arrest.
The economy takes center stage as President Trump heads to Pennsylvania one day after he announced a $12 billion aid package for farmers hit hard by his tariffs and trade war with China.
This relief will provide much-needed certainty to farmers as they get this year's harvest to market and look ahead to next year's crops.
The White House says farmers can apply soon for payments that will go out in late February, funded by tariffs revenue.
A one-time payment for farmers is cold comfort for all the headache and anxiety and losses they've endured because of Donald Trump's trade war.
Also Monday, the president appeared to walk back last week.
The same trade war that's ended up giving them $20 billion in their or $12 billion in their pocket. By the way, there's more to this trade war stuff, and Democrats, they're the ones that give in. They're the ones who completely defeated under Biden, et cetera, and why the reason everything's gotten so dang expensive. These Democrats, they leave the farmers out to hang. They don't care. That's the whole issue. And you got somebody like Schumer wants to make this case. It's all of this is Trump's fault. Again, as I mentioned earlier, this has been a problem long time in the making. It didn't happen under Trump, but yeah, it is time to take care of the family farms. It is time to make sure that we're taking care of the. Look, somebody else did email me. Look, it's great that we can feed the world, but we got to make sure we're feeding the farmers and take care of them as well. And a lot of this comes as you try and right the ship with the America First policies that President Trump is putting into place. These tariffs largely been very successful in making those things happen.
Comments indicating he'd be open to publicly releasing the footage of a second strike on an alleged Venezuelan drug boat from early September that killed 2 survivors.
All right, that's another subject altogether. And if we're going to shift gears, we might as well do this. Let's talk about where he's going to make the case today in Pennsylvania that this money going through the farmers' budget. This tariff thing, I've got to do a walkthrough on it at some point to show you where the vision of this president is for where he really wants to take us. You've heard him say he wants to get rid of income taxes. You've heard him talk about that, but it's bigger than that. You've heard him talk about this tariff dividend check. This is kind of a hint, a little bit of a sort of a sneak peek or a preview into where he wants to take the sovereign wealth fund and all of that. He wants to put Americans back in the driver's seat. And for some of these reasons, for some of these things, what he really wants to do, what he wants to see happen, more than anything else, from what I can imagine, see out of all of this, is that he wants you and I to be able to be a part of taking advantage of all of it. In fact, he wants us to own our piece of the country. That's the way it should be, right? America's first. It's for the people, by the people. And in some ways, you may be getting a big cut of this. All of this money coming in the short term. All right, let's get into this. Is Maria Bartiromo. Earlier this morning, Maria Bartiromo, she was on the folks on Fox and Friends just moments ago, making the case of where the president's going, what he's up to, and what's next.
They go ahead, 54-yard field.
Hang on, that's not it. What the? Oh, no, we don't have it. Oh, stinker. That was such a good hit, too. Maybe we can find it and get it up for you here in just a little bit. Man, she made a great case of what's happening. And essentially the outlook of where things are right now here in the scheme of things of where things are headed into the new year and what economically the picture, the bright outlook is going to be. In fact, she made a great case for what we really have to look out for. And we'll probably be able to get into some of that in Tech Talk this morning. So give me a moment. We'll see if we can scare that up and bring it up. But essentially, her warning is that AI is a problem. AI may also solve a lot of problems, but it may be the big issue when it comes to job loss, driving that over the next year or so. And she's calling for something unique as the president tries to tackle all of that. Coming up, folks, we'll get to it all. Stand by for the latest. Don't go anywhere. You can join us. Love to hear you on the program this morning as well.
Call Justin now at 616-774-2424. That's 616-774-2424. West Michigan Live with Justin Barclay on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM. Make your smart speaker smarter. Stream us.
Okay, getting smarter now.
It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barclay on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Here are your headlines from the Midwesterner this Tuesday, December 9th. I'm Robin Hoffman. It's a Midwesterner.news original story. On her X page, Governor Whitmer incredibly bragging about her efforts to educate children here in Michigan. This, as stats show kids lagging behind as a direct result of her extreme COVID lockdowns. On X, Whitmer writes, "I'm proud of all we've gotten done to continue making Michigan the best state to get an education." The Democrat governor goes on to say, "Let's keep building a bright future for our kids and helping our fellow Michiganders on their education journey." In Houghton County, Michigan, a vote on a resolution declaring only 2 sexes, male and female. The resolution ends with a call to other counties and the state of Michigan to recognize the existence of only males and females. For these stories and more, visit the Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Maybe you haven't heard about us. We're not one of the big...
All right, folks, thank you for jumping in with us. Sorry, I think we got our tech glitch fixed on the audio that you were hearing underneath the feed. That is all squared away. I think that had to do with the issue of trying to get that audio to you from Maria, but it didn't work out like we'd hoped it would. Anyway, there we have the latest and the greatest. Folks jumping in over here on Locals. We'll see the VIPs. Hammy, good to see you. Pick Gritter, Panda, Dina. Pictures of the Wicked Witch not allowed. Yes, that's right, Gritter. He's the moderator there. Everybody pay attention to. No, you talk about real trouble. Andrew Stuff, good to see you, my friend. Thank you for being here with us. Dina, thank you so much. Good to see you. Thank you. Michigan Joe. I'm fake? Uh-oh. The flag, McAfee just flagged this feed as deep fake detected. Uh-oh. I didn't wonder what they even use for that. That's interesting. I didn't even know they had such a program or software. We'll have to ask Trent about that maybe. Sheila, good to see you. Julianne, such a time as this. Kelly, SJ, Tennisville, Mando, good to see you. Kurt, Jen, Lynn, and so many others over on Rumble and on the book. We'll get rid of Whitmer for you. I know that's causing consternation. It's a little early for that, right? Jason, good to see you. Bruce, how are you? Carol, Bunny, Sean, Teresa, Penelope, Brian, Marilyn. Thank you guys for being here with us this morning. Folks on the tube, we got some tubers hanging in there with us. We got some folks on X as well. And the Getters. I'm trying to do better with Getter. So if you're on Getter, I try to give you a little bit of a shout out. Just drop your name, but the chat doesn't stay forever, so I have to constantly refresh it over there. So say hi real quick, and I'll give you a shout out. All right, back on the air here, folks. Stand by.
Try the 3-week quick start today. See how it works for you. Visit relieffactor.com, 800-4-RELIEF. That's 800-4-RELIEF. 800-4-RELIEF.
Setwood Radio is a preset now on our iHeartRadio app. Powered by Michigan Auto Law. Auto accident attorneys. Visit autolaw.com.
That's autolaw.com.
Coming up in Tech Talk today, AI digital ID coming to the U.S. It may begin in Alaska, according to some of the reports that we've seen. ICE Block app maker suing for free speech and foreign bot networks. The latest that you have to be aware of. Will explain those stories and more this morning. Jump on with us. You can at any time at 616-774-2424. Jumping up on the first in on the lines this morning. We appreciate you calling. Tim in Fruitport, good morning.
Hey, Justin, good morning. How you doing?
Fantastic, sir.
So I've been traveling all up and down Michigan, speaking talk with all sorts of Republicans. And you say it best, we like to shoot ourselves in the foot. We have a hard time getting along. I really think that the only way to save our state in 26 is if we start coming together, we start uniting, we start creating our own coalitions with our own Republican candidates with Trump values and push to get them across the finish line in 26.
What do you see being the solution? How do you make that work?
The solution is simple. We need to get back to our roots of faith, family, and freedom. We need to have the Constitution as our foundation, and we need to put God back in the conversation. And if we pick Republican candidates with those values, with the Trump values, that put people before politics, then we're going to win up and down the board red. But we all got to pick our teams. We got to pick our coalitions. We got to build them up. It's our obligation, our duty to get them across the finish line. The future of Michigan is in our hands.
Oh, I agree. Listen, fantastic. I'm just gonna play. I'm gonna play a member of somebody in my chat. It's because I'll say the same thing, and then somebody will say, "Come up with this," and they'll say, "And I think it's legitimate because these people have been through a lot." Okay, well, how do we know? Because this is the vetting process, right? How do we know that the people that you're talking about, right? How do we vet these folks that are going to run to make sure they are who they say they are, and they'll do what they say they're going to do, and they don't tuck tail and run at some point like we've seen lately?
Well, we need to do our research. We need to don't look at the news. Do it yourself. Meet the candidates. There's lots of events. I'm a former candidate myself. I was running for Secretary of State until recently. But we got to meet these candidates. Like I've met every candidate running for, on the Republican side this year, and we got a lot of great people. But if you meet them and you start talking with them, and it's easy to vet them when you're talking with them, when you go to these events, to support them.
What are you looking for when you talk to them? I think that's a good question. And I agree. I think you do need to talk to people. You need to shake a hand. I think you can get a lot from having conversations like that. But what are you looking for personally?
Me personally, what I look for is politicians. They say a lot of stuff. They make a lot of promises, right? But promises are like IOUs. You can't count on those promises. You can't count on their policies. You have to count on their character. So when you talk to somebody, you shake their hand, you talk to them. Are they listening to you, or they think about their next talking point? When you shake that politician's hand and you talk to them, are they listening to your issues, your values, your concerns, or they think about what they're going to say next? Or are they just moving on as quickly as they can? If they're listening to your issues, your concerns, then they're putting you first. They're putting Michiganders first. And that's where it starts, right? And we go from there, and we just build on, start building that relationship with our politicians.
Tim, great call this morning. Appreciate you calling in. Thank you for the heads up. Thank you for making that point. 26, you and I agree on this. This is for sure. 26, very important year, and we must be involved, and we got to come together. There's no more critical time, that's for sure.
If each of us picks 3 politicians with Trump values and we work our butt off for them, we're going to win. But we got to pick 3. We got to start our teams.
Tim in Fruitport, thank you, my friend. God bless you, brother.
Thank you, sir. God bless.
You got it. In Texas, they're definitely not talking Trump values. They're not even talking Texas values. Jasmine Crockett has announced her run for Senate.
Maps kind of pulled a chair out of the circle for Democrats. Cole Sullivan has the latest.
The highest profile announcement came last.
So I just want to be clear for all the haters in the back. Listen up real loud. We gonna get this thing done.
Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett will run against State Rep James Tallarico for Senate in the March Democratic primary.
For all the haters, by the way.
All the moving and shaking Monday really started when Texas Republicans redrew maps to make more GOP-friendly districts. Congresswoman Julie Johnson's blue District 32 is set to turn red, now stretching into East Texas. She's now running in District 33, currently represented by Democratic Mark Vesey, who just announced he'll run for Tarrant County Judge instead, leaving Johnson competing with Democrat Colin Allred.
He's hopscotching around to try to find something to run in.
Texas politics heating up. They're redrawing those. By the way, they're going to get into the same. They're going to get into the same issues in Indiana as well. They've got the redistricting done there. California went first, and you've seen all the rest of them now have to come out and sort of make their moves. I think you'll probably even see it, from what I understand, in Florida as well. There'll be some other places where they'll make some of these adjustments and moves to try to, if they can anyway, sort of rearrange the table for 2026 to help Trump. Now listen to this, because I got more from Trump, but here's the actual Jasmine Crockett announcement, which is one of the strangest I've ever seen.
How about this new one they have? Their new star, Crockett. How about her?
This is her commercial, by the way. Yeah, I know you're hearing it. If you're watching the behind the scenes live stream, you can see there's a video of her, and she's just by herself in all black. She's looks like she's listening to what this is being said here. And this is the president.
She's the new star of the Democrat Party, Jasmine Crockett. They're in big trouble.
But you have this woman, Crockett. She's a very low IQ person.
I watched her speak the other day. She's definitely a low IQ person.
This is an ad for her.
Crockett. Oh, man. Oh, man.
She bought the airtime to run this ad.
She's a very low IQ person.
Can you imagine? This is incredible.
Somebody said the other day she's one of the leaders of the party. I said, you got to be kidding.
Now they're going to rely on Crockett. Crockett's going to bring them back.
And she smiles, nods her head, and then it's her name on the screen. Crockett for U.S. Senate. I have never. Now, the only thing I can tell you is that this is a sort of a ploy to get people to unite behind her and against Prince, because that's the only thing I can figure out. You're making an announcement running for Senate. Why? You're running against the press. Is that it? Is that the announcement? Boy, the Democrats got real problems, don't they? Well, I'm here for Crockett running for Senate. It's going to put a big spotlight on her and I think the rest of the party and the loon wing, as Senator Kennedy likes to call it. Back after this, welcome in. It's West Michigan Live. We get into the AI talk, all the data center info and more in our Tech Talk segment next. Okay, folks, welcome back. Trent is joining us now. We'll test the line and see how that works out for us. Hang on 1 second. Stand by. Let me take this off the screen. Trent, good morning, man. How are you?
Morning, Justin. Doing great.
Fantastic. We appreciate you being here with us. You look good. You sound good. We got lots of AI talk this morning. Lots of interesting things to talk about. It's an AI digital ID coming to the U.S. We'll get that story. ICE block app makers suing for free speech violations. Foreign bot networks increasing influence, and among some of the most extreme. You wonder what they're doing and why they're doing it. We'll kind of shine some light on that coming up here in just a little bit. That is all on the way. And then I had a question this morning that maybe we can dive into here in a second as well, Trent. Let me dig this up and I'll see if I can get onto it. Trent, looking good, sounding good. Hang on, folks. Stand by. And I don't know if you can see this, but my chair is like continuing to go up and down. I'm going to have to adjust it here. It doesn't like it. We've got these $1,000 chairs. And it doesn't like it if I sit a certain way on it. Like if I get up front on it, it's like, oh, I'm gonna boom, 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 keep lowering on you. It's not a fan of me. No matter how much weight I've lost. I think if a dog was sitting on this thing, it'd still do it. Hey, by the way, healthwithjustin.com. Big shout out to the folks. Maha Missy and the team at healthwithjustin.com. You want to find out what we're up against? How in fact I've dropped over 30 and my wife dropped 23 pounds. You're feeling great so far. We got another phase coming up. And fantastic. They're doing tonight a big hormone conversation for ladies. If you're going through some of those issues with hot flashes and things like that, they've got really fascinating conversation happening tonight. And Missy talked about this on our latest podcast. If you want to go back and watch it, check that out. Healthwithjustin.com. Call them or shoot them a text and maybe even go online and ask for information. They'd be happy to help you. Joe Boy over on Getter, Mama Boom, having a blast this morning. Appreciate you guys jumping in and joining the conversation as well. I see Goodle Lady says, sorry I'm late. You're not late. Better late than never anyway. You're always on time. Hanging out in the chat on Rumble this morning. Appreciate you, Goodle Lady. Good to see you. I'm going to look up this. I had a story this morning that I thought might be a good conversation. Oh, it was all about AI. Dina sent it to me here. It's all about AI and regulation. And I want to talk. Well, maybe we can get into this with Trent. And Dina's concern was this story talks about how essentially Trump is going to issue an AI executive order that would sort of universalize everything when it comes to the rules of how the playing field should be set for AI. And they believe it'll make this a lot easier for companies to do business. It'll make it a lot easier for the playing field to be leveled, and then they'll be able to make the decisions that they need to make. However, and as Dana so rightly points, and I agree, I think states ought to be able to make their make their own laws and regulations on certain industries. However, this is the thing that is tough, because this AI thing, not only is it's not like held within one state, right? In other words, it's like a website. I can use this technology in any state. Now, this would more so be like, what are you allowed to create in that state? Now, I don't mean like video or pictures. Now, some of that might be part of the conversation. But more so what they're really getting at is, what are you allowed to do as far as creating AI technology, and how does that play into it? So the way I see this is, they're going to say this is a national security issue. And so Trump's on the money to be able to say, we've got to clear the board, and this is the way to do it. So it's interesting. It's an interesting conversation. We'll try and maybe touch on that during our Tech Talk segment here this morning as well. We got about 30 seconds left here, folks. Stand by till we go back on the air. I got 2026 updates, so we got to get to too, and we'll try and make all of that happen in our show. If we don't get to it in the full show, well, you're watching a behind the scenes live stream during the radio show here this morning. We'll get to it during the after show. Stand by. Here we go.
An SEC-registered investment advisor. The opinions voiced and information provided in this material are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual.
Hey, it's Glenn Beck, and you're listening to West Michigan Live with our good friend Justin Barclay. The Glenn Beck program coming up at 10 on Wood Radio.
'26 updates. The president says he's going to campaign for the midterms like his name was on the ticket. That could change a thing or two. We'll explain what was said and how that all could shake out coming up in our conversation here this morning. Thanks to the folks at Talon Wealth helping power the program today and every day. Go online to see how they can help you get through no matter what it is that you want to do when it comes to retirement, so you can thrive, not just survive in those days ahead. A little bit of a mixed bag on in the markets this morning. Little change. Investors waiting the Fed decision tomorrow. We'll hear more about that. There's a headline out there about China and the NVIDIA chips. AI continues to be a big part of what drives the market. guardingyournestegg.com, 616-661-1000. Reach out to Mike Lester and the team today. See how they can help you. Part of that conversation in AI comes down to our Tech Talk segment, as it always seems to be front and center these days. How could it not be?
Hack into the latest in tech and how it affects you and your world. This is Tech Talk Tuesday on Wood Radio's West Michigan Live.
Our good friend Trent Kennedy, Affordable Line Store at Lake Michigan Drive in Standell, and the folks at Grand River Tech. Whether you need help with the personal devices or you got questions about big business, or it could be your small business, could be your organization, your church, your school, Trent willing and ready to help serve you in those capacities as well. Trent, thanks for joining us this morning. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Justin.
So we got lots on the table today, and like I said, some of this is going to be driven just like we do every week by AI. Today, the conversation, I saw this over on Drudge and wanted to dive in with you because it's something that I think a lot of people are looking at when it comes to what is up ahead. AI and the drive for digital ID. Alaska right now, the state, plotting an AI-driven digital ID, identity, payments, and biometric data center. Now, I hear that. Probably like most people listening to this program go, oh no, here we go. The state's new system could turn bureaucracy into automation and consent into a checkbox. No one really controls. The piece here from reclaimthenet.org, obviously a group that is not in favor of this, but this is an idea, and one that people have been watching for a long time, because we have a situation where in the United States particularly, but all throughout, we've already seen the UK, they want to do this too. There's a push for digital ID, et cetera, because we got people coming in from all over the world. A lot of them are here. We don't even know who's here and what they're doing here and why they're here. I mean, all of these things. The UK's got a very similar. Now, it's not illegal immigration, but it's certainly immigration there, where they're dealing with it and thinking about rolling this out as well. And rightfully so. You could see how this has got some folks concerned.
Yeah, Justin, you got to look at these things from a practical standpoint first to understand some of the average Joes who are part of the governments, the city/federal, state governments are looking at this from a practical standpoint. These government agencies, think of the state of Alaska, have hundreds of services that they provide their citizens between healthcare, unemployment, insurance, taxes. I mean, there's a whole list of things that the state provides. And you got to remember, in Alaska, especially, people are spread out all over the place. So think of going to get a document notarized, how far you got to go, maybe some places that you live. And think of the cost associated with that, the time and hassle. So from a practical standpoint, they're saying, hey, if we have this newfangled computer system that can just merge all these services into one, have a very simple system of ID, and it sounds all really good on paper, we're just going to simplify everything. But when we take a step back, Justin, it's later when we realize the consequences of these systems. We realize what they do later, that how easy is it to hack your identity when everything is in one house, one place, and all they have to do is hack one single sign-in to vote for you, to sell your house, to apply a loan. I mean, ID theft is already rampant, and they still have to jump through some hoops with different banks or different entities, organizations, to hack you. Think about if they have to hack one login to your ID system, and boom, they have access to everything. They can download everything, and they can do anything they want on your behalf. That just puts us at a very vulnerable position.
Here's the story. AI digital ID out of Alaska. They're moving ahead with the digital AI-powered digital ID system that would link residents' identities directly to payments, benefits, and government services, as Trent just mentioned. The plan outlined in state documents obtained by Reclaim the Net describes a single digital credential tied to biometric verification and real-time identity checks. Privacy groups are already warning it could create a centralized database tracking everything from financial transactions to daily activity. State officials say it's about efficiency and fraud prevention. But as you just mentioned, it might be the vehicle to actually drive fraud. Critics are arguing here in Alaska, testing the kind of government-managed digital ID that many fear will spread nationwide. It's not like I said, it's not an unreasonable idea, thought to consider. I think it's going to be a tough sell. But one of the ways that they'll use to sell this is the immigration issue here in America, UK, and some of the other places where they're going to say, look, how do you track all these people? We got to give everybody an ID. You'll have to buy or sell using this ID. And if you don't have one, you're here illegally, which means you can't buy or sell. You're just going to have to self-deport. That's how they'll sell it.
Yeah, Justin, that is very uncharted territory. I would never want to be an early adopter on this new digital ID system. These things are in the digital world. When we hear of hacks and we hear of all the issues related to government and identity theft and information being stolen, I would not want my state to be the first person. I would want to see this digital system perfected. I would want to see it not in the hands of any government third-party contractors. There's so many things that could go wrong here, Justin. That's way too much sensitive data under one roof.
The story will continue to develop. The biggest question on all of it, on this tech stuff, because I think we've kind of gotten to a point now where we can do things. We can sure do a lot of things, but not everything that we can do we'll want to do, if you know what I mean. And certainly those things will make us more efficient, but will they also bring other challenges and consequences like everything does, right, alongside with it? I think that's a big question and one that deserves to be answered. It's like AI when you're looking at the automated driving, like trucks out on the road. They say, we may need, because we got a lot of these immigrants that don't speak English. They shouldn't be here driving these trucks, making things so dangerous, killing people out on the roads. Maybe it's time that we push the AI automatic trucks. They'll be safer than actual people driving the trucks. And see, folks, that'll be the way they say it. It's always how this type of thing works. You got to give people some sort of reason to make that move. Trent, that's my fear anyway. I see that on the horizon.
Hey, Justin, one quick thought about that all. Let's just say all the digital ID system, the digitally computer ran trucks, let's say everything just works flawless and there's no issues with it. What happens when the internet dies, Justin? What happens if there's a solar flare, never mind some, foreign attack, or somebody accidentally cuts a cable, or whatever things happen, Justin? Our internet grid is not strong enough and robust enough yet to handle this all. That's assuming that there's no issues with the software, the program, the autonomous vehicles, whatever. Is just simply flawless. Even our internet grid needs work. So this technology is a little bit too new because our grid needs to support that as well. A lot of work needs to be done yet before these things actually get put into place in real life.
Jason says, I don't want a digital ID, by the way. It says, sounds more like a leash than a freedom pass. That's probably the best way to put it. Jason, very good point. All right, all over to AI. I got this email earlier from Dino, who was talking about Trump's move to issue an executive order that would create a national AI rule. And essentially what this would do, what he wants to do is cut regulation essentially across the board throughout the entire country and make one sort of universal way of doing things instead of having 50 states chime in and do it their own way. Now, you may look at the Constitution and say, well, the states ought to be able to do this. They ought to be able to make these rules and decide what's going to happen in each of their states. But the president, and I think others would make the case that because of national security and really the survival of the nation, you got to have the ability to move forward with record speed in order to innovate and be at the forefront of this AI thing. Because what they'll say is, AI is one thing. Us having control of it is another. And China is another. The last thing you want is a country like China that controls this technology. That's the case they'll make. Where do you stand on this, Trent? And obviously, this is a big subject that continues to be talked about one way or the other. We'll get news on this, I'm sure, in the next couple of days.
Yeah, Justin, what you just described is just the most incredibly difficult thing to deal with, right? If China can use AI for every national security interest to have the best planes, the best weapons, the best hacking, the best security protection, the best of everything. If AI truly creates that for China or Russia or any other country for that matter, they dominate the world, Justin. So there is severe national security consequences if that happens. On the other hand, look in the past when our government made nuclear bombs, when during the Bush administration, wiretapping or other things, many people supported that, and then years later you look at the dangers from those decisions, the fallout from those decisions, the long-term implications. This is an impossible balance for our leaders in our country, and the states are obviously involved in the same thing with similar concerns. Justin, it's so hard to figure out. We need leaders who are strong that can work through these things, and somehow they have to connect to the individuals. I don't care what political party or what side, if they can't connect with us individual people and generate legitimate trust and understand knowledge and information sharing and what they're doing, I think nobody's going to be happy. Everybody's going to be afraid, and everybody's going to fight each other. And the states and feds have to get along in this AI stuff one way or another. They can't fight each other. They're going to go into gridlock, and nothing's going to happen.
Trent Kennedy, Affordable Life Store, Lake Michigan Drive in Standale. One more piece, and this will be just a short one, but I just wanted to share it. We'll put this up on the stack for you later so you can dig into it, because I'm not going to go full into. I just want to give you the 30,000 foot thumbnail on this, that this is a real thing, that this actually happens. I've kind of witnessed it. I've seen it in my own personal sense at times. It's a story, the NCRI, a Network Contagion US. It's a Network Contagion Research Institute. Essentially, what they're looking for is foreign influence online. And I've seen it in some ways. Bots and things like that. AI contributes a lot to this. But a country like Iran or North Korea or China or any country that wants to sow seeds of doubt, division, and all of those things into our national conversation can do it. It's easier now than it's ever been before. This new report details how with Nick Fuentes, who I won't comment on whether you like him, you hate him, whatever. I won't comment on his content and material, but what I will say is that they have now found that a large number of foreign accounts and bots were used to amplify his platform on X and other places. So again, I don't do this to comment on him. I'll let you make your own decisions about who he is and what he says. But I will tell you this because I believe this is important. As we mentioned, this is going to be something that the battlefield of the future really is. It's happening in the hearts and the minds of people online. So this is something you need to know, that people are being influenced by foreign governments, foreign networks online. Trent, it's a big deal.
Yeah, Justin, what's very key in this story is that this guy it looks like this guy paid India, Pakistan, Nigeria, Malaysia, and Indonesia. Those are the cheapest regions where bot farms exist, and they were paid to promote his content, to basically participate, to retweet, to do the things that helps generate more organic type growth. And I want to say it's not necessarily their governments per se that were paid, but these bot networks in those countries. So basically, he was able to supercharge his post and get mass publicity, mass trending status, and mass readership of his posts without being actually that organically interesting. And that is the part that's scary, because when we see something on the news or anywhere, we say, wow, this is a big deal. Everybody's upset about this, or everybody's happy about this and thinks this or that way. It could be 90% of that wave of popularity is falsely triggered, and everybody else falls in behind as sheep. Sadly, either they don't see through it, or they don't get it, or they just didn't read the whole story or think a little bit deeper. They're probably driving on the road, sadly, and saw something and is not even thinking about it and thumbed it up. And all of a sudden, it goes more viral than it is. That is a fear that we all need to be afraid of. What's legit and what's not. Let's pause. Let's give it a day. Let's think about it. Let's call some friends and have a personal conversation about something before we think it's viral.
Yeah, bottom line, I just think you need to be in the know so you can understand what's happening behind the scenes and make the best decisions you can for you and your family. Always a pleasure, Trent. That's a whole conversation. That little piece right there that we just sort of skimmed over, that's a whole conversation for a whole nother time. It's one that you could do a whole show on or even a series because I think it's going to be more important in the days ahead. Knowing what to trust, who to trust, and discernment, part of that process. Thank you, my friend. Always a pleasure.
Thanks, Justin. Have a great day.
Trent Kanibi, Affordable Eye Store, Lake Michigan Drive in Standale, Grand River Tech. Reach out, see if Trent can help you. Back after this in just moments, but first, let's take a look at the roads. I know we got issues with traffic all morning long this morning, and looks like things may be getting a little bit back to normal. We still got some backups in some places. I think Adam has an update for us. Good morning. What do you got?
Southbound at Pearl Street blocking the right lane, and the big one, if you're heading south, 131 southbound, it's north of that Alamo rest area, so between Plainwell and Kalamazoo, that's causing about a 15-minute backup past Plainwell. So if you're heading south, you might want to jump off before you get to Plainwell.
All right. Thank you. We'll get more updates as they come. Stick with us for the latest this morning.
Informative, engaging. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barclay on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Here are your headlines from the Midwesterner this Tuesday, December 9th. I'm Robin Poffman. It's a Midwesterner.news original story. More nonsense on the governor's X page. Incredibly, Gretchen Whitmer bragging about her achievements in educating our state students, even though stats show children here are way behind in math and reading due to Whitmer's extreme COVID lockdowns. Whitmer writing on X, Michigan's kids deserve the best shot at a bright future. For 7 years, we've delivered record funding for our students in schools and opened more doors to lifelong education. Michigan Senator Democrat Alyssa Slotkin trashing President Trump as she tries to get the federal government to pay out expenses incurred during that ice storm here in Michigan last spring.
This is part of a bigger trend from the administration where the president has been very vocal that he doesn't really believe that the federal government should be paying when natural disasters happen in the states.
For these stories and more, visit the Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Visit the Good Feet store today. We're on 28th Street Southeast in Grand Rapids and on West Nidge Avenue in Portage. Walk-ins are always welcome.
All right, folks. Welcome back. Welcome back. Teresa, did I talk about what yet? I don't see it. Unfortunately, it doesn't reply like it doesn't let me see your reply. It only sees that you said that. Can you share what you were talking about? The State Board of Education meeting, is that it? I'm not sure. Oh, the vaccine thing. Is that what you were talking about? I reached out to the folks, Michigan Vaccine Choice, and they said it would be best to come on after this meeting happens. You know, this board just does whatever it wants. The input from people. Yeah, I got that, Teresa. Thank you. Yeah. No, I haven't talked about it yet. But likely we'll probably have Mike from Michigan Vaccine Choice on. Would say... All right. Well, it's asking for all hands on deck in the comments at 1 p.m. All right. Well, I'll try and hit it. But this is a tough one for me to hit on the air because I can't give a link out, michigan.gov/MDE/about-US- I can't do that on the radio, but I can put a link to it. We'll do my best, guys. Hang on 1 second. Got to get back on the air real quickly. Not going to have a lot of time here, though. Michigan State Board of Education is at it again. Vaccines on the agenda for today at today's meeting. In fact, I just got an alert from the folks at Michigan for Vaccine Choice. They say love to have folks on the link to watch live today. Public comments. In fact, the meeting, I believe, about ready to get started if it hasn't already. Public comments today at 1. I'll put links to that in the stack at justinbarclay.com if you want to check that out. In the meantime, thanks to the folks at the Good Feet store for helping power this program today and every day, keeping me on my feet and on the go with the girls. And yeah, now whether it's fun, it's play or work, it doesn't matter. You can do it in comfort with the folks at the Good Feet store, the customized, personalized, arch supports that help get you where you need to go, and me every single day. Go to the Good Feet store, 28th Street, and in Grand Rapids, right in front of Costco, or in Portage on Westnedge in front of Kohl's, and see how they can help you today, just like they've helped me. Incredible. Fastest hour on radio. It flew by again. It does every day. It's just wild how that works. But we got more in the after show. Love to have you. Facebook, Twitter, X, Humble, Getter, Locals, YouTube, and the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you download your podcast. Make it a great one. God bless.
Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses. We forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation. Deliver us from evil. God is the kingdom, power, and glory forever and ever. Amen. Amen.
WOOT Grand Rapids. WOOT FM Muskegon. The news is next on Wood Radio.
An iHeart radio station.
Guaranteed human.
So Pure Talk is offering unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast.
All right, folks, got to push a couple of buttons and then we'll be good to go. Stand by. And yeah, we'll talk a little bit about this big story in just a second, Teresa. Stand by for that. Maybe Mike will come on tomorrow. I try to get him to come on Friday. But he says, we really don't have the full extent, know exactly what they're planning and what they want to do yet. So got to wait until we see. But he did just text me actually this morning with this information. So, all right, stand by. Let me get to that. Hang on. We're going to get our show on the road. Thank you, Teresa. There's the link. I'm not going to stream it on the air here because if people want to go watch, they can. No problem with that. But I just don't know how much we're going to see. It's going to be a lot of, some of those hearings aren't really, you're not going to see fireworks, although big things happen in those meetings. All right, hang on one second. Let's get this thing rolling. Get ready to strap in. It's going to be a heck of a ride. It's like drinking from a fire hose. Never a dull moment, but yes, you'll hear the stories you won't hear anywhere else, and we appreciate you being here with us for them today. I'm Justin Barclay. Yeah, welcome into the after show, the show after the show. Never a dull moment, never have time to do it all, but folks, we do our best. Make sure you help share the show. That helps get us out to so many people each and every day. That's a great way to support. People always asking, how can I support you? What can I do to keep this show on the air? Well, it's just as simple as that. Share this show. Help get the word out. One of the other things you can do, support our great sponsors, the people that power witness, the partners, to keep us rolling. Folks at MyPillow, Mike Lindell, mypillow.com/Justin, mystore.com/Justin. I got the children's 5-pack of the Bible story pillows. They're so cool. And as you can see, there's several. There's Daniel and the Lion's Den. There's the story of Jesus' birth. You got the Noah's Ark. You got Jonah being swallowed up by the whale. And I don't remember what this other one was. It's just like probably the Garden of Eden right there. It's what it looks like. We got all these. By the way, we're going to let our kids pick which one they want. They love these stories anyway. But can you imagine being able to give that to your kid or your grandkid or somebody you love and care about? You get 5 of them for $29.98. It's incredible. Promo code Justin, whether it's those great gifts or maybe it's something for yourself. Socks on sale, mattress toppers, mattresses themselves on sale, and coffee 50% off. Everything. MyPillowMyStore.com/Justin. Go check it out. Help support Mike and the program today. They help keep us on the air, which is much, much appreciated. All right, big story right now. In fact, this is something that I knew about, I guess, for the last week or so. They had mentioned that this was coming, and I asked him, like, should we blow the whistle on this? Should we blow the alert? Coming to Michigan Tuesday, Democrat Party is planning more vaccine legislation, courtesy of the Michigan House Democrats. And they've got this. So, by the way, Michigan House Democrats, how are they and why are they working together with the Board of Education? Shouldn't it be like a independent situation? And unfortunately, that's just not the case. Michigan House Democrats writes, join us as we introduce an empowering parents protecting communities package to keep Michigan families and communities healthy. Oh boy. Urgent action alert. Michigan State Board of Education is at it again. Vaccines are on the agenda for today's meeting, and most likely they're looking to address what was discussed last week with MSU and the Department of Health Services at last week's webinar. Dems are looking to introduce a package of 5 bills to restrict medical and vaccine freedom. It's time to get loud. We need all hands on deck in today's meeting at 9:40 and in public comments at 1 p.m. So they've got, by the way, this is streaming. I believe it's streaming on YouTube. I think that's the link that Teresa just put. So if you want to check that out, you can. Hang on. Let me see. Probably not much. There's usually not much. Yeah, it looks like it's live now. There's not much to share on this. It looks pretty, I don't even know if the meeting's gotten started yet. It looks like they're just sitting around chatting. And, we got I think it's 2 Republicans that are on this board that are good folks that are doing their best to make sure that stories like this, particularly moves like this, are not made period, and without people getting involved. Parents ought to be able to have a say so. That's just how it has to be. But this is another one of these. And again, you realize they know their window is getting shorter. They're running out of time. 2026 is right around the corner. There you go. Let's listen to what
give you an update. We have 2 board members en route, but we're going to get started. We've been in communication with them. I would just want to welcome everyone to today's meeting for the Michigan State Board of Education. It's an honor for me to be here to chair my first meeting as State Superintendent of Public Instruction. And I want to thank the board for its confidence and welcome those joining in person and via YouTube online. So the time is now 10:05 and a quorum of the board is present. The State Board of meeting scheduled for December 13th is called to order. The first order of business that we have is approval of the agenda.
Oh, we got a little.
Is there any board members that would like to add or delete anything from today's agenda?
I move that we accept the agenda as is.
Moves Dr. Pugh, second. Dr. Pritchett, thank you. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I'll be voting no. I think we should be having on the agenda at least discussion about the compensatory services litigation regarding during COVID and special education students and how that litigation is going on at the U.S. Department of Education's Office of Civil Rights. And so, yeah, I think that should be on here. Thank you.
Mr. Bullock? Senator Bullock?
Not disagreeing, but if a board member wants to have something on the agenda, they should put in to have something on the agenda instead of waiting until the meeting to say they're not going to vote for the agenda.
Miller?
Yeah, I mean, I've said this numerous times. It's not a surprise. I've said it at least 6 of the last 12 meetings, so it's ridiculous, but thank you.
We'd like to give our new superintendent a chance to acclimate himself to our
All right,
concerns.
I'm going to vote no.
Okay. Thank you. Any other discussion?
See, they're already arguing.
Okay, hearing none, Ms. Evans will take.
By the way, McMillan, I think he's been on the program. He's a good guy.
Been absent. McMillan?
No.
Pritchett?
Yes.
Pugh?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Snyder absent. And Tilly?
Yes.
Motion passes.
So the first item on the, oops, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
that's okay.
I'm excited to
We're
get
all
to
good.
it.
Yeah,
All
we're
right.
excited. I'm excited too. We're all
Slow
already,
down.
especially we all made it here. Thank you, Dr. Pugh.
Yeah,
At this
Nikki's
time,
another
Ms.
good one,
Evans,
Nikki
State
Snyder.
Board Executive will introduce the members of the State Board of Education. Ms. Evans.
All right. I'm just gonna, folks. I'm gonna pause this. Maybe we'll come back if there's anything interesting. But you're just watching the wheels of government, all that stuff that's not really meant for a stream. It's not really meant for a podcast, after show, etc. We're more thumbnail of what actually happened and that type of thing. Because we only have, 20, 30 minutes to get down to brass tacks. Let's get down to business. In fact, one of the biggest stories right now is President Trump says he's going to go out. He's going to campaign. Apparently, Susie Wiles, chief of staff, says he's going to get in it on 2026 like his name was on the ballot. And this is big.
He's going to have a fun next year. But we're going to put him on the campaign trail, too. Typically, just a little bit of campaign speak, if I may.
Yeah.
Typically, in the midterms, it's not about who's sitting at the White House. It's you localize the election,
Right.
and you keep the federal officials out of it. We're actually going to turn that on its head.
Good.
And put him on the ballot, because so many of those low propensity voters are Trump voters.
Yes, they are.
And we saw a week ago Tuesday what happens when he's not on the ballot and not active. So I haven't quite broken it to him yet, but he's going to campaign like it's 2024 again.
Oh.
For all these people that he helps. He doesn't help everybody, but for those he does, he's a difference maker, and he's certainly a turnout machine. So the midterms will be very important to us. He'll work very hard to keep the majority.
Yeah,
in the Senate.
we can't afford to have this
Cannot.
stalled.
No.
And one of the things I keep telling people, and I'm sure we're going to talk politics. I got to talk this. I am so frustrated with all of the people that gave abundantly to organizations like ours and others over the last 4 years to make sure that we won. And our objective was threefold. We didn't just want the presidency. We wanted the House. We wanted the Senate. And we were very strategic on where we went, how we focused to get those moms out. And now it's like they're all sitting on their laurels and going, "Oh, we're good." I'm like, I don't
President
think you
Trump,
realize how
he's
good
got
we
it.
aren't. And this with swipe of a pen and one election can change everything.
And the majorities in both houses are so
Yes.
small.
Right. They are.
This is a good Senate year for Republicans. Every 2 years is what it is for House members. So there's candidate recruitment. The president started raising money for the midterms the day after the election.
Good.
And he's sitting on a huge war chest to help these people. And he'll use it. And he'll use himself, and he'll use his money that he's raised, probably his money too. And nobody can outwork him. So there's every reason to be confident, but we have to actually get it done.
Yeah.
There you have it. That is right out of the chief of staff there, Susie Wiles, the mouth, that she says they're already making those plans, and I know the president's going to back that. That will be interesting to see how that transforms, what that does in places all across the country. What does that look like? Do these people have a chance? Will they? And I will tell you, like in places like Michigan, it's going to be so critical that we get out, that we get involved, that we get to work, because this is going to be a year that could make or break our state. Make or break our state.
He's a breaking news alert.
Michigan, by the way, this is a federal judge allowing DOJ to unseal Ghislaine Maxwell records in the sex trafficking case. We just got this. Just the News has the latest story here on this. And of course, it's not a surprise. Everything kind of playing out the way we thought it might, and you're hearing this. You're hearing this first. Obviously, the president kind of coming out after calling it a hoax. Well, the way the Democrats were laying all of this out was the hoax. The way the Democrats were trying to present this like Trump's he's in the records. He's the guy. He's the problem. He's why he won't release this. The way this all worked out, really interesting. Now we got Democrats demanding the release. Now they've gone quiet though, ever since they passed it to release the records. Now we have judges coming out unsealing records. What is the next? What will we hear next? That's the question. Federal judge on Tuesday allowing the Justice Department to publicly release records from Ghislaine Maxwell's trial, her sex trafficking trial and case. Maxwell and the associate of the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, reading this from Just the News, by the way, serving a 20-year prison sentence. Judge Paul A. Engelmeyer ruled after the DOJ asked in November to unseal grand jury transcripts and exhibits from Maxwell and Epstein's cases, in addition to investigative materials, according to the Associated Press. The decision means the records could be made public within 10 days. They're already some of them have already been out. Some of them are already starting. The new ones are starting to come out. And as we get those, we'll make sure you get to see and hear about that as well. But that is the latest. That's the latest on that piece. Lots of questions in the chat this morning about whether they like or trust Susie Wiles, which is a whole nother question. I can't tell you. I don't have any interaction with her. But you better hope she's a real deal, because she's got a lot of sway and making things happen there as the president not only tries to turn things around here, but also through 2026. So yeah. I can't tell you. Powell faces pressure to cut rates. I think we get that. Is that decision tomorrow? Interest rates, we'll have conversations about that in the coming days ahead as well. What that could mean, making things cheaper, obviously, here in America for you, for me, for everyone else. Oh, yeah, and I was looking for Maria Bartiromo earlier. Let me see if I can find that clip. This was from the Fox Morning Show this morning, and she made a really good point about the economy. And let's see if I can find it. She did talk a little bit about inflation. She said overall it looks like food prices are down, but there are things that are up. And so you got this liberal kind of lefty Aaron Rupar who posts stuff like this. He's showing Fox, oh, look at this. Yeah, ground beef is up. Coffee is up. By the way, these are for reasons that have nothing to do with inflation. They're separate completely. Coffee especially is weather related. They might say, well, that's climate change. No, it's not the case. But she went in on this morning and shared, like a lot of people. I don't know about you. Again, you kind of walk through this. A lot of the food prices, I think, are really unchanged. And I think one of the things that we've gotten away from, because I really haven't. I will tell you, I like beef. Don't get me wrong. I do like the beef, and we're paying a little bit more, but we're okay with that. One of the things that I'll tell you, which I think is just kind of wild to watch, but it's true. People have forgotten where this came from. People have forgotten where all of this came from, which is, and the truth is, Biden. Why did we stop calling it Bidenflation? Bidenflation. Bring that back. People got to bring that back. I told you earlier there was a video that's floating around out there. You got to see it's President Trump caught on a hot mic. And by the way, this is all the truth. Calling out Republicans for allowing Democrats to run the clock down on his administration. I can't appoint anybody. Everybody I've appointed has had it. So what he's saying, and this is the Alina Habas story we had earlier, is that in the Senate, they have it's been impossible to get some of his appointees passed because of these dumb, I think it's called blue note, blue chip, whatever, these rules that they've got on how they go about things. And, look, it's time, maybe it's time to bring out filibuster.
Hey, Jeff, you agree with me on blue stuff. You know I cannot appoint anybody. Huh? I can't appoint anybody.
They're unplugged.
Everybody I've appointed, their time is expired. And then they're in default. And then we're losing patience because
Imagine that. And by the way, I don't know about you, but this is behind the scenes in the West Wing there, and then outside the Oval, et cetera. It looks like maybe this is outside the area where they do the cabinet meeting. But look at all the gold touches on everything. There's a lot more gold there than what we realized before. Look all over the door here.
Hey, Jeff, you agree with me on blue stuff. You know I cannot appoint anybody. Huh? I can't appoint anybody.
They're unplugged.
Everybody I've appointed, their time is expired. And then they're in
There's even gold around this door. And all that. It's just really interesting. A little back, sort of backstage, behind the scenes touch. He's right though. This is a problem. Time to end the filibuster. Push these people through. This is incredible. They always talk about the threat to democracy and all that. The rest of the other. This is it. Threat to democracy. That's the problem. You can't get anything done. You see, I can't appoint people, then I'm in default, and then he's right. He's absolutely right. All of this has been a nightmare. And like I said, they're trying to step by step stop him from doing it. It's just a whole nother coup. It's a whole nother coup in itself. All right. What else do we have? Why don't I show you this? Because this is great. This is, by the way, I don't know if you've seen they took down they took down the picture. Richard Levine. Do you know who Richard Levine is? Well, if I tell you Admiral Levine, if I told you Richard Levine, if I showed you the picture, say the name, you probably don't. Who's that? If I showed you the picture, you'd know exactly what I'm talking about. This is Richard Levine. Now, you may recognize Richard Levine from holding a high post in Biden's Department of Health and Human Services. when they do the side-by-side comparisons, because they're always coming after RFK. They're always coming after RFK Jr. Saying this guy's a kook, he's a quack, They never talk about Richard Levine. All right, look at Richard Levine. Now, what they go by? Did he go by Rachel? What was he going by? I don't remember. Was it Rachel? They have now since changed. Look at the plaque down at the bottom. They've changed this. They've taken it and they've changed the name back to Richard in the photo. I think it was trying to go by Rachel. Let me just type this in. Rachel Levine? Yeah. Rachel Levine. Yeah, because I always say, oh yeah, this right here is the picture of health. This is who you should listen to and look up to. Secretary Levine. Dr. Rachel L. Levine was the Secretary of Health for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. The account is retired. This is who Okay. And also worked in the Biden administration. General Milley's girlfriend. Great. All right. So this is who is overseeing right now all of that, the health of human services. This is RFK Jr. walking up at an airport. They got a pull-up bar. He goes, "Hey, can you do this? Look at it. Here he goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Dude, I'm getting tired watching the guy. Oh my gosh. Look at him go. Wow. His shirt came untucked. This guy don't stop. What do you want as the Department of Humans? What is a guy like 70 almost? Now Duffy's going to get up there and do it. Incredible. Who do you think, by the way, knows the most about that? The guy who just bodied like 20 pull-ups, or Rachel Levine could barely pull himself up off the buffet table, the buffet line. Probably on Ozempic here in this picture. Don't know for sure. I just think it's incredible. And just a perfect picture of what is going on here, what we're missing, right? In our country right now, as far as truth, logic, and common sense. Well, I told you Jasmine Crockett is running for Senate. And we played you some of the announcements she made, but then she actually came out and gave a speech, which might even be the better part of the announcement. We saw the commercial they ran had President Trump basically just ridiculing her. I don't know why she would pay for people to see that, but she loves it. And I guess somebody thought it's a great strategy and it'll work. But here she is telling her folks, anybody that'll leave, y'all ain't ready. Y'all ain't tried it the JC way, she says. Ain't no way. Let me tell you, though. Oh, I don't know if this is a rap concert or if this was announced to run for Senate. I don't know. Huh? Now she's even got a name. Crockett's Crew. She got a name. She just got the Crockett's Crew, folks. Oh, oh, okay. All right. We gonna get this thing done now. Come on. Come on. Oh, this is just incredible, folks. Please run. Just when you thought Democrats couldn't get any more clownish. There we have it. Adam Schiff out there saying he's kind of upset. Not about the current attorney general and the way things are moving, but he's actually more upset that the previous attorney general, Garland, wasn't more partisan. Can you imagine? This is the same guy that signed off on federal FBI agents raiding President Trump's home in Mar-a-Lago. The same guy who signed off. He said Garland wasn't partisan enough.
Higher ups. Why did Merrick Garland move so slowly? What about his character or tactics or strategy led him to behave that way?
Unbelievable.
The Justice Department in the first Trump was abused. and made partisan. And he wished to restore the department's reputation for independence. Now, what they did in the first Trump Justice Department is peanuts compared to today. But nevertheless, Merrick Garland wanted to restore the reputation of the department for strict nonpartisanship. And that made him very reluctant to pursue an investigation of the president. Too reluctant. Ultimately, that gave the Supreme Court the time it needed to drag things out further and make the case against Trump go away completely when it could have been brought to fruition. And we might be in a very different place today. Higher ups.
Why did Merrick Garland move so slowly? What about his character?
What a question. Why did he move so slowly? The New Yorker. Give me a break. These people are absolutely out of touch. This elitist attitude, this just looking down their noses. Everyone who doesn't think or talk or act like they do. It's just wild to see. No wonder Americans are done. No wonder why they are watching these stories, story after story, and they're on to it. In fact, Carolyn Leavitt, White House press secretary, on Fox and Friends this morning, calling him out.
Well, the Democrats are the greatest con artists in American politics. They are pretending to champion the issue of affordability when they themselves created the worst inflation crisis in a generation.
This is what I'm talking about. This whole idea. Why do we stop using the term Bidenflation?
Can't create a problem and then turn around and say, I'm the best person to fix it. No, that's why President Trump was reelected, to fix it. And that's exactly what he's doing. So as President Trump has been screaming from the rooftops, Republicans need to remain tough and smart, and they need to be more vocal about touting the accomplishments of this administration. Again, inflation has slowed because of President Trump's economic policies. We see wages for the first time in 5 years are increasing by about $1,000 per the average American worker. We know wages were declining under this president. And as you mentioned, Ainsley, next spring, these tax rebates, that's real money back into the pockets of the American people, for workers who work overtime, for those who collect tips, for those who are on Social Security. They are going to see that money back in their pocketbooks. And every single Democrat on Capitol Hill voted against these historic tax cuts. So you can't say you're for the working man and woman when you vote to raise their taxes. The Republicans and President Trump have a proven economic formula and agenda that's working. Right. It's focused on bigger paychecks and lower prices, and that's what President Trump will talk about.
By the way, that's part of the strategy I told you about earlier, is raising the wages, and that way the wages will continue to beat Bidenflation, and we'll work our way out of some of this. Now, here is the report. Again, we told you the other day, and by the way, prices have gone even lower.
Dollars a gallon in June of 2022. That, of course, in the Biden administration. Yeah. Dollars a gallon in June of 2022. That, of course, in the Biden administration. $2.95 now. Investors are waiting.
Yeah, that's the news. Again, average price of gas just dropped again to $2.95. Now, I'm not sure where to go in Michigan because, again, don't forget we're gonna get that 50-cent gas tax going into effect at January. So it'll be like a 20% or 20-cent bump at the beginning of the year. But just remember, that's not because of Trump. That's because Whitmer signed that into play. So that's part of what we're seeing playing out here, folks. Good news, though, because things are moving in the right direction. All right. I'll try and scare up that clip. I was looking for the Maria clip today. I'll try and see if I can scare it up and bring it tomorrow. If I can, I'll get it for you. In the meantime, boy, oh boy, so much going on. It's hard to stay on top of it. Tomorrow you get a bonus. We'll talk to Maha Missy, and here's what's on the roll. Scientists are supercharging cells to fight effects of aging. It is all in the cells. In fact, she talks a lot about that. We're going to see if we can get some breakthroughs. You've probably seen some of these people that look like they're really young. Even some of these Hollywood types, like, what are they up to? What are they doing? We'll get into all that and more tomorrow as well. Come on over and join us inside the Freedom Fam VIP. It's just $9 a month to join us. In fact, Congratulations and welcome to our recent lifetime members who've joined the Lifetime VIP. We appreciate you as always. All the VIP supporters, and our latest, Shelly Ann, who just jumped in to become a VIP supporter. And B. Vaca, thank you so much. Joining with an annual supporting membership. You can do that right now. JustinBarclay.com/VIP, just $9 a month, or grab it with a month free in the annual at JustinBarclay.com/VIP. God bless. Make it a great one, folks. Today.
I'm Dr. Kirk Elliott, founder of Kirk Elliott Precious Metals. After being in the industry for more than a decade, I knew there was a better way. It's an exciting time to invest in gold and silver with the most significant bull market I've ever seen, but please don't overpay for your stuff. At KEPM, we focus on low-cost bullion only, and we don't charge a commission when you sell. We would love to connect with you, so call our office at 720-605-3900
or go to goldwithjustin.com today. Lots of great stuff inside right now, the store at justinbarclay.com. T-shirts, sweatshirts, long sleeve shirts, hoodies, jackets. We've even got mugs and travel mugs, beach bags, all of the Gulf of America gear and more. Freedom Fam, Justin gear, all of it with great prices just for the season. JustinBarclay.com. Go today. Make sure you get geared up so you're ready no matter where you go. You help support the show and get the